Bitlocker gets cracked. Apple gets its first Trojan. And OpenAI announces its latest toy.
It's news to me. Welcome to It's News to Me, where the it is IT and the me is whoever it needs to be. I'm Noah Parker.
I'm Michael Trotter-Lawson.
And I'm Tyler Rasnick.
Alright, so hypothetical question this week. It's a bit of a classic, but you gotta work your way through the classics too. If you can get anything, but you know it's going to be your last meal, what's your last meal?
Oh.
Crab legs.
What?
For sure is going to be in there. That's not the whole meal. I get to there's not like a limit. I can eat whatever I want.
Okay. Yeah, this can be like a full-on 9-course buffet.
Like the whole buffet table for me.
Pretty much.
Like a Studio Ghibli
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it.
Any way you want it. Okay.
I just feel like crab legs.
Bro.
Well, hold on. Because I can understand crab legs if you're telling me that once you're done eating, you're murdered. Because crab legs take
I'm
4 hours.
The inevitable.
You're just barely cracking.
No.
Wiggling little bits of meat out.
Here's the thing. I don't want just crab legs. I want a bowl of ready to eat. Someone has already done the work. I want crab meat. Okay. And I want some au gratin potatoes. Scalloped potatoes.
Sure.
Yeah. I want a banana split with caramel and cherries and whipped cream and rainbow sprinkles and peanut butter.
Man.
And I want a Cheerwine and a Dr. Nuff, a Dr. Pepper. Is there a time limit on how long I have to sit here and eat?
I mean...
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, let me keep going. I also want the double barrel bacon bourbon burger from Fats because the first time I had that burger, it was probably the best burger I had ever had at the time. Second time I got it was burnt, but the first time is held on in my heart. And now Fats is closed.
True.
They probably don't have that anymore, anyways, even if they were open. And I want hash brown casserole, second form of potato for the meal.
So you're basically going to eat until you literally will die.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to die anyways, I might as well
you
eat
might as well
till
just, your stomach might as well burst at the seams.
And I want some banana Laffy Taffy.
Just to chew on?
Yeah.
I'd probably go to the Cheesecake Factory, and I would order, so I would get 4 of the bread basket that they bring you. I'd have 4 of those with butter. And then I would have the mac and cheese bites.
Damn.
Those are so good. Maybe 2 of those. Maybe 2 orders of those. And then I would have the chicken Madeira, and I would also have the chicken parm pizza style, and I would have the honey truffle chicken.
So out of all the things you've eaten in your life, you would want Cheesecake Factory as your last meal.
Yeah, I love it that much.
Huh.
It's really good.
That fascinates me.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I've had better than there was I had a dry aged steak once, but it was fine. It was better, but I've had it once. I don't really need it again. It was the experience. But I'd probably eat that, and then I would probably have 5 or 6 different kinds of cheesecake at the end.
Man,
I would be so stopped up you couldn't die.
Yeah. If they tried to inject, if this was some kind of death row thing and they tried to inject me, it just wouldn't.
Yeah, your blood
it would coagulate. It just wouldn't get to my heart.
Oh gosh.
Oh, and some blue cheese dip from Partners.
God, you made that blue cheese dip.
Oh, actually, hold on a second. Now that I'm rethinking this, I honestly, if it was my last meal, I would probably eat all the stuff that I can't eat on a normal basis that I miss. Because I have Crohn's disease. So I can't eat anything spicy. I would honestly probably just go to, the best wing place. I'd get wings from, the place in Abingdon that has wings. We can cut this out. I would just get wings, and I would eat like 500 hot wings until I literally because I love hot wings. It's my favorite thing in the world, but I cannot eat it anymore. Like it will murder me. But if I'm going to be dead anyway in like 30 minutes,
might as well.
Fair enough.
And then I would smoke 3 packs of cigarettes. And I'd smoke 3 Camels.
Oh gosh, man.
What about you, Michael?
Hey, what you got?
Oh, I'm good.
You're good. What do you mean you're good?
I'm kidding. Kidding. No, I love food. I would probably have like 4 different kinds of soup.
Yeah, no surprise there.
You know, I would want like this is my last meal, so I would get like Olive Garden's chicken and gnocchi, but without the gnocchi. I know that's weird.
You don't like the gnocchi?
That's the best part.
I'm not a big like I love the soup. Like I just love the flavor of the broth and the chicken and whatnot, but like I'm not a big fan of like mushy potato noodles in my
I love chicken. I hate soup chicken. Like I feel like chicken that's been in a soup for a long time is not as good.
Well,
as
it's not as good as like if you're like if you have like freshly cooked chicken that you're like shredding and putting in soup like right before you're serving it. That's way better. Because like one of my other soups would definitely be like a classic home style chicken noodle with like homemade chicken stock.
Yeah,
the whole 9 yards.
I love chicken noodle soup.
There's a really good beanless chili that I'd love to have.
And Nana's apple pie. That would be on my list. Sorry.
Apple pie would not make my list.
Oh, it'd be there. I'd eat 2 whole apple pies.
I would love apple pie if it's good.
I think as far as like an entree goes, honestly, maybe I'm just like in a wings mood since you started talking about them. But I love to get like, what was the place? It might have even been like Cootie Browns or something like that, something random like that. But like the wing, like the quality of the actual wings there was really good, like the meat itself. So I would want like that, but with like the B-Dubs Chipotle barbecue dry rub on that,
Drums or flats?
I think I'd still go with the mix.
Yeah, it is good at the mix. If I had to choose one though, drums are better, I think.
I prefer flats.
I just like the drums are one movement, whereas the flats like you got that little piece between the bones that's kind of hard to get.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like I'm sticking my tongue through. Yeah, I don't like that like eating it and you're like
I don't know. I feel like you get more good meat off of a flat than you do a drum.
I just feel like I don't know. I feel like drums are often really dry.
I guess it does depend on like good wings. If you go somewhere that has good wings, the drums are usually, I don't know, I feel like there's more meat on them if they're cooked properly. Like when I make wings at home, Logan, my wife, loves flats and I love drums, so we always just split them up. Sometimes you get screwed over because it's not a 50-50 mix in a bag usually.
Yeah.
I just like drums.
But I don't know. I think like last meal I'd want that variety on my stomach.
I'd want all flats. If I got wings.
Have you ever eaten like a whole wing, before they separate it?
Yeah.
Those are good too, because like, I don't know, you just get the whole thing, but then you got the weird tip.
That might be the way I want it there at the end.
Yeah.
But
you can eat the tip too.
I don't know. I might also get like some crab legs or something in there too. There's just
you gotta have some seafood.
There's so much food that I really, really love.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here trying to think, and I feel like I've already listed so many things.
Yeah. And
my stepmom, she makes this really good dessert called Cherry Crisp, and it's like a cherry thing with like oats and like it's all like a bunch of sugar, and it's probably like
real bad
half solid diabetes.
Yeah, real bad.
But it's so good. That'd probably be on my list.
I guess you'd want to pick something that's like really indulgent that you normally just wouldn't even touch, but you're like, it doesn't matter at this point. I don't even know what that is for me though.
I kind of want a chocolate fountain just so I could finally stick my tongue in a chocolate fountain.
I would want like the biggest creme brulee. Like
oh
ever.
yeah,
like
I
a
love
whole
creme brulee.
table.
I do too. That would be so good. Like the world's biggest creme brulee.
It's this big, and you're just eating it with a spoon slowly.
Yes.
That yeah.
They have to bring one of those Elon Musk torches out to do it.
The flamethrower.
That would be awesome.
That'd
Creme
be
brulee,
great.
so and candied bacon.
Yeah.
Candied bacon.
That's what I should have said. I can still say it. There's
no,
time.
you missed your 30
I'm dead.
cooking.
I'm dead now. They've already killed me.
I mean, I want some like bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers in there.
Also donuts. I forgot to mention. Like I love donuts, so I'd probably eat. Honestly, I'd probably just eat a bunch of sweets. Just
I think
a
I'd be
bunch of
fine without donuts.
You like donuts?
No, I think in terms of desserts, like apple pie and cherry crisp and caramel pie. You ever had a caramel pie?
What is is it just a big old pie crust with caramel?
It's either like condensed milk or evaporated milk. I think
Which I'd eat that on its own.
I know. I think it's condensed milk, and you like boil it for like 4 or 5 hours in like a big pot. You just like put the cans in there and boil it. Caramel pie.
Caramel pie.
And then you put it in a pie crust, and it's literally.
Is it like a silk pie kind of?
It's caramel.
It's caramel, but like you've seen a silk pie, right?
Yeah.
It's like fluffy.
No,
it's not fluffy. It's just straight up caramel.
Yeah, it's so good. My mom used to make those all the time.
Like how earlier I was talking about, like, I don't understand why I'm fat, and I was like, I can literally drink evaporated milk. I could drink that.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I would want more time to plan it out.
For sure, but on the spot's good
like,
too, because it's where your heart's at.
Yeah. There's a show on YouTube I highly recommend. That's an interview style show where it's called Last Meals.
I think I've seen this, or not. I didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail.
Yeah, where they get various celebrity types on, and they prepare their last meal, whatever they want, and it has me. I think about it every time I watch that show, and I think I always come to like different.
Yeah,
I always come up with different stuff on the spot.
Well, I feel like even like the death row inmates when they get to pick out their last meal before they're electrocuted or whatever. I feel like that's always going to be different, unless like you're on death row and you really have a long time to plan, and you're in prison, so it's not like you get good food. Yeah. But I feel like you could ask me 5 different days of the week, and I would give you a different answer.
I'm gonna go back and listen to this next time I'm hungry, but can't think of anything that sounds good to eat.
Yeah.
Because I've listed off so many things that I could eat right now.
Crab legs, though, huh?
Oh yeah,
you like crab legs?
I love crab.
What
legs.
do you like about it? The taste,
delicious. What do you mean?
What do you mean, Tyler? I feel like, do you not like crab legs? Is that?
No, it's not. It's not that I don't like crab legs, but there's nothing worse, I feel, than like being really hungry. You're at the beach, you're hot, you're dehydrated. You sit down,
and I eat like so many crab legs.
Well, they bring you this big thing, and you've got to like open it up and crack it, and you've got to really dig for it.
If you're good, you don't have to really dig for it.
I'm not good,
and if they're cooked well, they've got to be cooked right.
It sucks. Like I feel like by the end of it, I've burnt more calories than I've ate eating the crab legs.
Well, that just makes it healthy, right?
I guess.
That's why you get one of those boils that has like the potatoes and the corn.
Yeah.
And, you can snack while you eat.
Well, my wife loves crab legs, but it's annoying because like we'll go to like seafood restaurants and I'll get, I don't know, like lobster or shrimp or something, and then she's like, it's 2 hours in and she's still over there. She's got a bib. She looks like she's been like she's birthed. Like she's covered in like grease and like there's
like butter.
Yeah, there's little bits of like stringy crab meat like in her hair. And she's like, I'm like, what is this? And we're still there. And
I just think you guys are eating crab legs wrong.
I bring like a book. I pull it out. I'm reading. I don't get the appeal. They don't taste bad. That's not what I meant. I think they do taste good, and the butter and all that's great. I'm just annoyed.
I went to this restaurant at the beach one year, and they had like a special, and it was just like an entire bowl full of crab claws. And with crab claws, if you like break the claw part out, it takes out that hard like plasticky piece that you don't want to eat. It's not plastic, obviously. I don't know what it is, but you take that out, and then you crack it open, and you take all the meat out and eat the meat.
Yeah.
But that part was already removed, and it's like someone took a Dremel and pre-cut all of these crab claws. So you just had to pick them up, break them open, and eat them like Cadbury cream eggs.
That's a man.
That was the best. That sounds
good. Maybe that's
so
my last
good.
meal.
And it was like a big bowl just full, and I was like, "This is heaven. I've died already, and I'm eating."
I made lobster for the first time Wednesday for Valentine's Day because it was like $5 for a lobster tail, and I'd eaten lobster, but I never made it. But it's like super easy to make.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm just gonna start scouting grocery stores. Like if I see another sale, I'm just gonna eat this every day for the week because it's like so good, and it only took like 25 minutes in the oven.
Nice.
I mean, you can broil it and grill it, but I just put it in the oven, and it was delicious. So that's maybe on my bucket list too. I just love lobster.
Lobster's
and
good.
there's no work. It's already, just there for you to cut up and eat.
Crab's easy to cook too.
It is, yeah.
Boil it.
Well, have you ever had those like crab sticks? I think they're called like
the imitation crab.
Is it imitation crab?
Yeah.
It's usually at like
so.
sushi restaurants. I love that though. That stuff, it is imitation, and it is kind of gross now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, you don't think about it.
In sushi form, it's very good, but now that I'm looking at it, there's just something that's wrong and unsettling about this.
Yeah, that's the thing. Imitation crab meat is kind of good. Like, in an odd way, like it's pretty good.
Yeah. What is it?
It's nothing like crab meat though.
I think
No.
it's like a type of fish.
It tastes nothing like it. But I don't know. I used to like buy imitation crab meat and just like eat it with cocktail sauce. I didn't care.
There's nothing wrong with that.
This is made of starch and finely pulverized whitefish.
Yeah.
So that's all it is.
Nothing like crab. Oh, she crab soup. That'd be on my meal too.
I think I'd probably also want. Man, what was that place we went to?
Bimini's?
Back in Myrtle. Yeah, I would want just the what were they? The scallops.
The scallops, yeah.
Like the scallops that there was only like 2 of them on those
on the
skewers.
Kebabs, yeah.
But I would want just whole kebabs.
I would want
like 6
scallops.
kebabs of
What
those
was so
scallops.
special about just you like scallops, or were these like
Those scallops were incredible.
They
like
were really
generally,
good.
I'm not a big fan of scallops. They usually there's something like kind of rubbery about.
They're
a lot of
normally
the
not
ones I
cooked
get.
right.
A lot of scallops that you get, if you look at them and they're all like the exact same size, they're actually cut out of like stingrays.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know you can overcook a scallop and it is like gross.
I'll fact check that, and if I'm wrong, I'll let you know.
But those
I was
scallops-
told that one time.
That were part of the seafood kebabs at Bimini's were incredible. I'm pretty sure they had options to just get scallops, but it was a lot more expensive. So
I like scallops. My wife hates them, so I usually, if we go somewhere and she orders a dish with it, I get a little extra scallop.
Should we get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast? I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Ironically, away from the food.
Yeah, we had the creme brulee first.
All right. So earlier this week, we might have been last week actually. Since the last podcast, we did a short discussing a Bitlocker vulnerability ? Not necessarily a. Tyler's going to explain a bit more why this isn't necessarily a thing that you should be worried about. But it was someone who did legitimately break into a laptop that was encrypted with Bitlocker, which is a Microsoft service that is supposed to basically encrypt all of a device's data and make it impossible to access. But clearly not in this case.
Yeah, so basically the exploit, and I'm reading about it so I can get my facts straight. So it looks like you would have to purchase a $10 Raspberry Pi Pico-based TPM sniffing tool. So it's not just like a Raspberry Pi out of the box,
Right.
too, but it's Raspberry Pi based. So it's a custom piece of PCB that was created just to do this. And it only works with PCs with discrete TPM chips, which means they're PCs that probably pre-2010, I guess, because most modern PCs, especially ones that run Windows 11 because it's a requirement, have built-in TPM modules on the board. So these would only be viable for PCs that have a discrete, a PCI-based or an expansion TPM chip. So then you're really limiting the pool of PCs that this can really even affect. But even though that's the case, it's still really impressive they managed to do that. But as far as risk or exploitability in the wild, it's like minimal, like less than 1%. But it is still really cool that they did this.
And if you see someone next to your computer with a bunch of wires coming out of their code, watch out.
Yeah, so it looks like they used the Raspberry Pi to monitor communication between an external TPM chip. So this isn't even one that's internal. This was one that was external. And a second-generation ThinkPad X1 Carbon from 2014. So that's how old the machine would roughly have to be for it to even really be susceptible or vulnerable. But I guess the knowledge that they gained during this process, I mean, if they were to share that with someone else, eventually, who knows where this could lead. But having to have this, also having to have physical access to the machine too, would be really, really unlikely. But I mean, the use case to where this would be worrying is if you didn't have like an MDM or something.
What's an MDM?
A mobile device manager.
Oh.
So it allows you to remotely wipe a device if it's lost or whatever. So if you did lose a machine and someone got access to like an X1 Carbon that had data on it, and they could take it back to wherever they're at, and they would have all the time in the world to crack it, which is a little scary. But that's really the only. It's really the only risk there, but it's still really cool.
Yeah, that's something I really never really thought about until I started working here. Was like the protocols that you need to take when you do get rid of old hardware and things.
Yeah, I mean that's like.
Do you think, I'm throwing this old laptop away?
Yeah, I mean, it's minimal, but like honestly, if there are people that buy like, which you're throwing something away, dumpster divers aren't really as prevalent. But if you were to like donate something or take it to recycle or take it to someone to recycle and they don't do it properly, there are people that buy old systems and just hope that there's a hard drive on there that they can try to retrieve anything from. SSNs, banking information, passwords from cache browsers, those kind of things.
Yeah. I guess the biggest takeaway here, well, there's a few takeaways for sure. I think the biggest thing is that, Bitlocker is not under like any serious new threat as far as like modern machines and like no one who is currently using Bitlocker as an encryption method should be like all that concerned by this.
Yeah, and anything that's new to a new device, you have no.
And that's the other thing. I think if anything, this is just a reminder that the longer hardware is out, the more likely it is that people are going to find more and more ways to break it.
Hardware and software. Yeah, that's why patching's so important to make sure you're up to date.
Patching and just constantly making sure that you're not letting your stuff get outdated. Especially when things get outdated, they stop receiving support and new security updates and things like that. So I think the biggest thing is we did report on it because it was interesting, but it's not, the average consumer is not going to have to worry about someone hacking into their BitLocker in 43 seconds.
Yeah. Or any enterprise that use it. I mean, you're pretty good. As long as it's something you made before 2014 and you don't lose it. So, and you have an MDM, which most large enterprise probably have some kind of MDM solution. So,
all right. Well, Noah, you want to talk about Sora? Not to be confused with the Kingdom Hearts character
with the huge shoes.
Yeah, the huge shoes.
The size 45 shoes.
And the key sword.
I sort of want to talk about Sora. I'll throw crickets in there. So OpenAI, I actually don't know when it came out. What did it say on that article? I'm over here looking at scallops.
Sora was announced yesterday, if that's what
it says 1 day ago.
Gotcha, yeah. So OpenAI just announced a new tool that they're in a testing phase for right now. It's called Sora, S-O-R-A, and it is terrifyingly super cool. It's a text-to-video software. So think, ChatGPT is text-to-text. You text, and it gives you text answers.
Yeah.
And that's cool, on its own. And then the next step up from that was text to images.
DALL-E, yeah.
DALL-E.
Yeah.
And this now takes that to the next level with text to video. And it can do animations, it can do photorealistic, like unperceivably real.
I'm looking at it now, it's incredible.
Like, it's absolutely insane. And it's super cool to think of the possibilities with it, but it's also terrifying to think of what people could use it for.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's insane because, like, even with ChatGPT and DALL-E that have become, better and better and more, DALL-E becoming more like photorealistic as far as its image generation. There's always like a level of
inconsistency
and kind of uncanniness,
Yeah.
And there have been some like AI generated video things, just other like prototypes and whatnot that I've seen, but all of them kind of looked like really, really like abstract.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you could,
like the Take On Me music video.
Yeah, but not as artistically impressive.
Yeah, definitely. But like every single thing I've seen has kind of had that like flashiness, kind of like in the discrepancies to each frame.
Right. Because I mean that's really the big thing that this has to involve is a certain level of like it is the image generation software that DALL-E does, but kind of multiplied by 24 to 30. They're talking about having to do all of those frames back to back to make a video that looks like an actual photorealistic video, and these videos do look remarkably photorealistic.
And it's even crazier because it's not like it's just generating like a one singular thing with like a blank background, but like it's like full scenes that are completely like moving.
Yeah, like there's this one it's 2 pirate ships and a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and it just looks
like
so
the physics
cool.
all look real,
yeah,
legit, and it's insane.
I don't know. And I feel like it's I'm kind of torn on this because it's really cool for people who don't have the skill sets to make these kinds of things that they will be able to, realize their ideas without, all the effort. But also, I've gone to school for digital media, visual effects.
Bad decision.
Yeah. And, I mean, if I could just, have gone to school to type a sentence, that would have been way cheaper and way cooler. And so it's kind of, like I said, terrifyingly cool because I think there's so many possibilities, but it also kind of negates a lot of skills that people have gotten.
I feel like this is just, I don't know, like a war will be started with this in the next 5 years is how I feel about it.
Well, this kind of falls back to the, once this starts being more capable of replacing actual people, or like creating stuff with actual people's likeness, like it was always kind of I don't know, it's scary.
Are you trying to take it back to the Luke Skywalker?
No, I wasn't. I can't.
Every minute I think someone's trying to take it back to the Luke Skywalker. Okay, but no, this is terrifying. It's really cool, but it's very terrifying.
I just I don't know, it's crazy because I think looking at the things that it has done, it is not absurd to think that, within the next 5-10 years, we could see, like, entire, like, movies or episodes of TV shows that are just entirely AI generated.
Yeah.
Like, that don't even have real people in them. Because that's another thing that's crazy about this, is that the individuals that it shows off in these like demo videos, they're not real.
Yeah, like this one, there's like a spaceship scene or something, and it, like, there's cinematography, and there's like,
yeah,
it's not just like a static image of someone walking or something. It's like There's more to it than that.
It's I mean, it's creepily real.
Yeah.
Right now, they don't have audio,
which there are AI audio, text to voice type things. So, I mean, all it would take, like you said, to marry that up for like a movie or short or something is you could do them in 2 pieces.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Very scary though.
And like the animated scenes that they have are like Pixar level quality, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Makes me really happy that I actually have no intentions of going into like the digital media field outside of working here.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I do still believe that, there's almost certainly going to remain a level of humanity that like we will have to put into like actually good movies and films.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, but literally, I just want to see Noah like animate something like John Henry with the digging machine or whatever, and you die on your keyboard, like you're like your hands are smoking. You're like, I'm animating, and this thing's doing it faster. And then you just do it's the most well animated thing we've ever seen, but your heart gave out because you're trying to keep up with the machine.
Man, that'd be great. I don't think I could ever make anything that would hold up to the quality of the message that was trying to send.
True, that's true. I gave you a little bit of the benefit.
But conceptually, I like the idea. I like where your head's at.
Yeah. Folk hero Noah Parker.
Modern day John Henry.
It's I don't know. I just
support your artist friends.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, none of this stuff would be possible without the, billions upon billions of hours that, actual real life, filmmakers and cinematographers and photographers and artists and all those people had to contribute without knowing that they were contributing into these models for them to be possible today. So
go to the next set of videos. There's one that's like a train. It's the next one. Watch the next one. That one blows my mind.
The reflections. How do they do this?
I don't know. It's insane.
I don't get it. So obviously there's a reference video somewhere that it's... I mean, AI is so crazy.
It's trained on, I guess, hours and hours and hours of different footage, but still, like, that one particularly, just because of all the reflections and stuff, blows my mind. Anyways, we can jump back into it. I just wanted to... But yeah, no, I mean, I know all these people... I mean, obviously people are making this happen, but it's just, I don't know, it'll be interesting to find out where it heads. Because, I mean, it's all just happening so fast,
Yeah, I think that's the most terrifying aspect of all of this, is the fact that it is going much faster than any like, government can, as far as, like...
legislation and...
any kind of, like, regulation preventing this kind of thing from being misused,
Yeah.
I think that's the scariest part, because we just don't... There is nothing to stop, bad people from making really, really bad things using this technology,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few. So I'm looking at these while we're talking. Like, this one is kind of weird because, like, you can just tell it's AI based on how the height of this, the angle she's taking, the scale of the trees as they walk.
Yeah.
So, like, there is, at least, I know this is, like, super early. Like, they haven't even, they just announced it.
Yeah.
And it's still incredible. But, like, I'm sure there's going to be bits and bobs where you're still going to know that this is AI.
Yeah, but I feel like the part that freaks me out is, like, a lot of this seems to be almost growing exponentially.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to realize that all of this stuff that we're looking at now is, at this moment, as bad as it will ever be.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it like that?
Yeah.
It's only going to get better. So, yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
A lot of people don't like it. I mean,
It's really cool.
I appreciate it. I think it's cool. I don't like it either. Kind of makes you want to just give up. Don't give up. Hang in there. Cat poster.
Yeah.
Not an AI generated cat poster, but a real one made by a real cat. Real cool cat.
Patrolling the Mojave kind of makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
What did you just say to me?
It's from Fallout New Vegas.
Oh.
Patrolling the Mojave makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of depressed now. I think I just
Took
want
it down.
to go home.
Do you think there's going to be like a generation? So like our grandparents, I guess, grew up smoking. Like everyone, it was really prevalent. Like teenagers all smoked.
Oh yeah, they had like rewards programs.
Yeah. Do you think there's going to be a generation behind us that are going to like shun technology? Because ultimately, I just feel like things like this in general are all just bad for you.
See, I don't know, because I feel like so much of the world relies on using technology that...
It's true. I mean, I shouldn't equate smoking to technology, but it's something that you don't really know is bad for you until later. And, like, generations just ignore, and there's a generation that comes behind you that are like, hey, we shouldn't do this, maybe.
I think there is certainly there's going to be a level of, like, parents that are, like, mine and Noah's age are going to be...
Like mid-20s, in case you didn't know.
Right, yeah. We're probably going to, like... We would probably be a bit more wary of, like, technology and social media's effect on our own children.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I think... You know, if we were to have kids, we'd probably be a bit more careful about, you know, introducing them to those things. Like, I couldn't imagine, you know, having a kid and just, like, trying to just keep them out of technology entirely, since it is such an integral part to everything. I think it's almost like, it's a weird thing to compare it to, but I feel like it's almost the same kind of thing as, like, sex education, where, like, trying to, like, hide that kind of stuff from your kid is just going to make them learn it wrong or learn it in a less safe way than they could. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's it's kind of weird because I feel like we kind of grew up in that prime time of technology kind of becoming way more of a day-to-day, like everything revolves around it.
Right. I mean, we grew up as the internet grew up.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, like, you know, parents of our generation, they didn't know what to look out for, what not to do, what to do. I mean, it was all new to everybody.
Yeah.
So I feel like you were saying, Michael, we kind of have, or hopefully would have more of a grasp on, you know, making sure that our kids or the next generation just in general kind of limits their use and they kind of know how to navigate things in a safer way and know what to look out for. Whereas I feel like we really didn't. Like, I feel like I was pretty much just allowed to use the computer.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I mean, it didn't really...
Yeah, for better or worse.
Yeah.
But I feel like we were talking about the Apple Vision Pro last time. Like I don't know, this. I just feel like it's... I feel like most younger people kind of could lose touch with reality really quickly.
Yeah.
Because people don't really go out anymore, and like, I mean, if you can just generate a movie, like if I could say I want to watch a Game of Thrones style movie with this plot, like why would I ever go out anywhere? I'll just generate stuff for me to do at all times. And you put an Apple Vision on and like, I'm inside of this that I've just generated with AI. Like, it could be very bleak, and I feel like that's not good for us.
No,
as human beings. So it's like one of those things, I don't know, like you said, it's progressing faster than we can really like get a hold of, but at some point, I don't know, something's gonna have to be, like, even if it's just a personal choice, you know, like you can drink as much soda as you want, but you're gonna get diabetes. Like, you know, just people be aware that this is probably not great for you to immerse yourself in it constantly. social media too, which I think we've talked about that previously.
Yeah.
But I mean, me personally, I don't use it really at all. I have a Facebook that my wife, will tag me and stuff, but like it's just not good. I don't really get anything out of it, so I don't use it. It's just not healthy, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, time will tell. I don't know. I do think, to at least some degree, future generations are going to have to be. I mean, they're going to obviously they're going to be different, but I think as we go on, people will. I don't know. Well, come to terms with how they want to interact with technology in their own way.
I'm going Amish, bro. I'm gonna be churning butter. I'm done with this.
They got good food.
Listen to vinyl from the '60s.
I think the biggest issue that the future generations are gonna run into is that it will be too easy for parents to just ignore their kids and let them, entertain themselves with technology.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at, too, with, like, I just feel like reality being, like, yeah, your kids, your family, your friends, I don't know, like, that's all the fabric that sort of connects us, like, that's just kind of going to erode over time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, I wonder if it's, because, I mean, I don't know, I wonder if it's more of going to turn into a thing where just, like, as you get older, you kind of realize that you're like, oh, I've wasted my whole life doing this thing that I should have done, like people do with smoking.
Right, yeah.
And again, smoking's a little different because it, became very well known the health risks of smoking, whereas technology, I feel like, is less of a necessarily less of a health risk in terms
just
of like,
mental health,
physical.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe, honestly, at some points it could,
Well, I mean, yeah, if you just sit there and do nothing all day, you're going to be in bad physical health.
You're going to be atrophied pretty bad.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, people still have to eat. They still have to hopefully get up and go to the bathroom.
Well, this was like one of our first hypotheticals was like, I was like, plug me into the Matrix. Like, I want to taste the steak or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
Really, the more I'm thinking about it, like, I don't know.
Maybe don't plug me in.
Well, if you maybe plug me in if like it's a 1-to-1 and I don't know the difference. But like, I think the weird thing about all this is it's going to be this weird gray area with all of it until eventually it probably will be 1-to-1 and indistinguishable.
Yeah, I feel like we're in kind of like a weird like technology transition phase of like the next chapter of how we're going to live our lives.
Yeah, like version 5.0 of this may be really cool and have a bunch of use cases, but like right now it's super scary. And there's no like digital thumbprint to tell you that this is fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the scariest part, I think, is just the indistinguishability.
Yeah.
If that's a word.
It
is
now.
not a word, it should be.
It is now.
It's a word, I think. Well,
all this technology advancing as fast as it is, and Apple managed to get a Trojan.
Well, I mean, as fast as, security evolves, the bad actors evolve just as fast, if not faster. So
that's true. Guess they have access to all this technology.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so February the 15th, Group IB, a leading creator of cybersecurity technologies, discovered the newest iOS Trojan. It's called goldpickaxe.ios. Basically, it's a Trojan that seems to steal facial recognition data, and then they can use that to exploit basically MFA via facial recognition for banking and other accounts. But right now the targets are the Southeastern Asia Pacific region, so Thailand and Vietnam. But it's still concerning because Apple's their main calling card is security and the fact that in general, OS X and iOS, there's not a ton of malware for that.
So it's not the first one that's ever shown up.
Yeah, it is just the newest. But this one in particular is kind of nasty just because of the data that it's targeting is the facial recognition data, which is...
And there's a lot of different apps that'll, purport to make themselves more secure by using, facial, Face ID to as a form of MFA. So
also, apparently, this has been in the wild since June of 2023. It was just discovered.
Oh wow!
February 15th.
Okay,
so it's actually been out for a while.
So I mean, was it? How exactly do we know that it was just in these Southeast Asian countries, or was that just where it was discovered?
It's where it was discovered. Yeah, it looks like the group. It's called Gold Factory. Is the name of the malware group. They're Chinese speaking, so I'm guessing they're targeting more local first. But that doesn't mean it's not going to hit anywhere at any time.
Right.
So what's what does Apple do when something like this happens? They
patch it,
throw out some updates.
Yeah. I mean, typically, which I don't know, this group IB that discovered it, I'm assuming they'll get a bug bounty. But once you discover something like this, you bring it to their attention and they develop a patch for it.
Gotcha. They called up Steve Jobs and they're like, "Yo, I got a worm in my Apple,"
and he went.
Okay. Got to bring back the crickets for that part.
No, I feel like I need to leave that part just dead silent.
Oh, gosh.
So people go, "Oh no, did it pause?" And then they're like, "Oh no, he's dead."
Oh no, he did.
Apparently, though, the Gold Digger malware originally debuted on Android, so they used that data.
Well.
Yeah, which we talked about that in the past about how malware-ridden the Android App Store can be, even the official App Store. So
I guess, this is probably not something that any iPhone user actually needs to be concerned about.
Just to be aware.
Yeah, just be aware and make sure. And you should always do this, but especially, with this next update, make sure you take the latest update that patches this thing out.
That's something I've really tried to get better about because I was notorious in the past for because I never charge my phone. It's always right on the brink of dead, and it won't update unless it's above 50% or plugged in, and it usually wants to do it in the middle of the night. So I would never charge my phone at night.
Right, because that's the time when normal people charge their phone.
Yeah, but as we've determined, I'm not normal people.
Yeah, so it looks like 9to5 Mac reported that the latest version of iOS and iPadOS are still vulnerable as of February the 16th, but Group IB informed Apple about the Trojan, so, I mean, they are really quick about patching.
Yeah, Apple's often, a day or two later with patching the stuff out. So,
but any time that a vulnerability comes out, and this is good, I guess, for any operating system or whatever. But if especially if it's app based, just don't install apps that you can't verify the source until there's a patch.
Did they say how it got onto?
Yeah, it disguised itself, and this I guess is why it was targeting those regions. I guess they have some kind of government app for MFA, and it disguised itself as that app for Thailand, and that's how that data was stolen.
Wow.
I didn't really go into detail on how it disguised itself. I'm not sure if it showed up on a hijacked web page or, I mean, the official App Store wouldn't be where you would have gotten this.
Yeah, it's very hard to get apps into the Apple App Store. So.
Yeah, it's either side loading, which you're very limited with what you can do with side loading on iOS. So, I mean, in general, even if you were to get something like this, it'd be hard to even install this. Yeah, so it looks like the goldpickaxe.ios disguised itself as the Thai government service apps. So there's a digital pension app for Thailand banking sector. It requested the user to create a comprehensive facial biometric profile and take a photo of their identity card. So then they use that data to break into the actual banking app using that data. So it was a Trojan, but really it was nothing the app inherently did was malicious. It just tricked the user into giving them that data. Which is still a Trojan horse, but it's not quite the same. Generally, a Trojan is which this still fits that definition, but it's an application that you believe is on the up and up, and then it's hiding something, a malicious payload or whatever on the inside, which in this case was the data that you were giving them.
It's fascinating. But I suppose not something that good to be aware of here, but probably not something that most of our audience in the United States and Germany need to worry about.
Well, shouts out to any of our listeners if they work for the government in Thailand. They need to patch immediately or turn their phone off.
I think I'd probably also just have like plates of different kinds of bacon.
No Thai food.
I like Thai. But I'm not sure it makes it into my final meal.
We have a friend named Ty.
Yeah.
I think he listens to this.
I wouldn't eat him, though.
Shout out to him, though, just for listening.
Chocolate-covered bacon's really good. I had that at DadoCon.
I've never had chocolate-covered bacon.
It was good. The candied bacon was better, but like the weird thing is, I don't know how they cooked it, but the bits of bacon that was covered in chocolate had totally different consistency than the rest. So you took one big bite of bacon and you got 3 different flavor
Maybe
profiles.
they just cooked it in the chocolate.
That would be cool. I wonder if I could be cooked in chocolate. Maybe that's how I go. Maybe that's my last meal and how I meet my end.
That seems like a terrible way to go.
But you're just like blah 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 eating the chocolate.
No, your skin is burning.
Yeah.
You're not drowning. You're being cooked.
Well, I mean, you can be slowly cooked in chocolate. I didn't say it had to boil me to death.
Well, but I mean, you're still eventually it's gonna hurt. Like, there's no avoiding that.
Well, no, if you like, if this is completely stupid, you guys let me know and I'll cut it out. No one needs to know. But isn't it like a thing? If you like put your hand in a pot of water and you slowly bring it to a boil, you won't feel the pain, but you will burn yourself.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon where he's in like a cauldron and there's like a witch lady cutting up stuff and he's in there and he's like, Doc, and he's eating a carrot and then it's slowly coming up to temperature.
And he's like, hey, don't forget the oregano.
Yeah, that would be you. And me.
There's an old there's a myth that if you put a frog in a pot of water and bring it to a boil slowly, that it'll just die. You all heard this before?
Is that a myth that it would die?
I'm pretty sure that seems pretty accurate.
I think that's what would happen.
No, but it's a myth because the frog will eventually just jump out. It won't just chill out and let itself get
Once it gets
boiled.
uncomfortable, it leaves.
Yeah.
I like to see that.
So boiling a frog will kill it if you keep it in the pot. Yeah. That's not the myth.
Hold on, can we go find a frog? I want to try this out.
Yeah, have you all not heard this before? It was like a thing. It's like the same thing where you were talking about with putting your hand in the pot and slowly bringing it to a boil. You could do that to a frog, and the frog would just stay and just eventually die. But it doesn't. It leaves.
Well, yeah, but I feel like that might be a little different for a frog because it's kind of like
its whole body.
If you were in your house and your whole house around you was on fire, but you didn't see the fire, you'd feel it getting warmer eventually.
Yeah, I guess it's like if you went to your house and you increased the temperature by a degree every hour.
Like eventually you're gonna be like, man, it's kind of warm.
Yeah, it's like it's real, like it's suffocating. I can't breathe.
Yeah, so.
But just your hand.
But again, this logic though, why does this not apply to the hand? I feel like if the rest of your body is feeling a normal temperature and your hand is slowly heating
circulatory system, maybe?
I feel like eventually you'd catch on,
Circulatory system? I do know that if you're freezing to death, that all you really need to do is heat, like special ops guys.
It's like your wrists, right?
Yeah, it's like your hands and your feet, because your circulatory system will, if that's warm, it will circulate it through your body.
Huh.
So I don't know. Maybe there's something to that.
Interesting.
There's plumbing involved. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like hot water.
We don't know human anatomy.
No, that's not what I mean.
Come on. Woo!
Thank you for listening to It's News to Me. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see or hear more like it, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@BurkIT or go to our website at burkitc.com. Our theme music is Big City Lights by Icholix. Come back in 2 weeks to hear more of me, Noah, and Tyler in the next episode of It's News to Me. In the meantime, keep your data secure and your mind sharp. You're really good.
So what if they told you, the proverbial they?
Yeah.
What if they told you that you had to pick like appetizer, entree, dessert, maybe a salad, like a regular meal, and you can only pick that many things. Honestly, I just asked that question, but I feel like that's going to lead into way too long of a conversation.
Alright, we can cut this down, right?
Yeah.
We
can just move on.
No, this is the fun part of the podcast. The rest is
the fun part for you guys.
The rest is a slow march to the end. But this is when all the fun is.
This is the hook.
Yeah, this is what gets
where the fun begins
and ends.
No, that's what I call podcasting.